After a baseball-filled weekend for the Orioles that included a rain out, an orange out, and just a heartbreaking loss. They had no business losing. Up 3 runs, Orioles lose to the Toronto Blue Jays 7-6. Split the 2-game series, as I mentioned, it was shortened from 3 games, but it's the Flex Zone, the official Baltimore Orioles post-game show. We do this throughout the year. If you're new to the channel, you like baseball, you like the Baltimore Orioles, or you just like anything we have to say, make sure you subscribe, swing for the fences. Make sure you leave us a thumbs up. It helps us in the YouTube algorithm and lets the people know, hey, I like what these gentlemen on this channel are saying about sports, and we want other people to find out about it. And make sure you comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the O's. Have not won consecutive games all season. What's going on, Bearland? Yours truly, God's favorite host, here to talk you through another tough loss, a stunning loss, a devastating loss for the Orioles today. As I mentioned, by a score of 7-6, the Orioles now find themselves at 6-9 through 15 games. Now, obviously, it's early in the season. It is way too early to assume how the season is going to play out. We haven't even finished a whole month of baseball. We are only 15 games into the regular season. And honestly, when they play again, as they do have an off day on Monday, they will only be playing their 16th game. And out of 162, that is only 10% of the total season. So they still got over 90% of the season left. Long way to go. The AL East is congested, not one team pulling away, and 88 to 90 wins may win you this division. But we know about the injuries. We know about the adversity. We know that the offense was struggling coming into this series. And I want to backtrack because Orioles and this is just a baseball thing. This isn't Orioles, Blue Jays. This isn't one-sided. The umpires in baseball, they need to get their act together. The ball and strike calls, the ever-changing strike zone, the constant changing of balls and strikes throughout different at-bats in a game. And you saw that today with John Bacon, the head umpire, and Brandon Hyde. They got into it, and Brandon Hyde was ejected because he's stepping up for his player, Jordan Westberg, who was called for strike 3 and an egregious call. And these umps in baseball, we got to get it together. We got to get with the times. We have to get with the modern technology. We have to get automated balls and strikes to the knees, to the letters of the chest. That is the strike zone. That's what the strike zone has always been. And I don't get why every umpire and crew, every crew has a different strike zone. And it changes throughout the game, and it even changes through at bats. But to John Bacon, you, sir.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
We got to get that off first. We got to get this ball and strike just for all teams. We need it consistent, okay? The strike zone should be consistent, not changing every at bat, not changing with every crew, not changing throughout the course of a game. But Miles Straw for the Toronto Blue Jays did drive in the go-ahead run in the 10th as the Toronto Blue Jays capped an amazing comeback, 7-6. Alejandro Kirk did have a home run. He drove in 2 runs for the Rays, who trailed 6-3 in the 8th before the rally to earn a split of the series. So it's like kissing your sister. Orioles win on Saturday in the orange out, and the Blue Jays win on Sunday. Ryan Mountcastle. Hits the first home run over the new left field wall, which was moved back in after it was moved back for guys like Mountcastle. We heard about all the home runs that the Orioles missed last year, and that works 2 ways because the other teams missed home runs as well. But we heard about that. Then now we hear about Mountcastle. The wall is up. It's a mental thing. He hits the first home run over the wall. He's having a good start to the season. I'm loving what I've seen from him in a contract year, and it's only apropos. Gotta love baseball, how it worked out, where he's the first guy to hit a home run over that wall. Tyler O'Neill also went deep as well. So Tysep, he got the job done as well. So he can hit power numbers. His first home run at Camden Yards this season. Gunnar Henderson is starting to heat back up. That is the biggest takeaway from this game on a positive aspect. I don't want to be negative, Nancy. Gunnar Henderson, 3 hits, and the Orioles were denied their first winning streak of the season. Ernie Clement singled in the 10th for the Blue Jays, put runners on the corners before Straw hit the slow roller. A perfectly placed ball. You couldn't have placed it any better. A slow rolling ball up third place line off Matt Bowman, who takes the loss. And Jeff Hoffman. If you know about Jeff Hoffman, former Phillies closer, the Orioles, Braves were in on him, two contenders. I like the potential add of him. They could have added possibly Hoffman and Kittredge. Maybe they would have just added Hoffman and not Kittredge if they would have got him. But he failed the physical in Baltimore, failed the physical in Atlanta, goes to Toronto, who was just practically giving money away. I mean, they were throwing it at you. They were throwing money at you, literally. You know what I mean? So they got to deal with him, and you see why. He's now 2-0, got 6 outs, 2 innings of scoreless relief. Fastball was moving, split finger, splitter, the off speed stuff, the slider. He was fantastic. Kirk doubled in a run. Davis Schneider hit an RBI single, and Bo Bichette, who was playing for a contract as well, had a run scoring single off Yannier Cano to tie it up in the 8th. Now, George Springer did leave the game with left wrist discomfort in the 5th inning. And as I mentioned, John Bacon, the home plate umpire for the game, did eject Brandon Hyde in the 3rd inning for a 3rd strike call on Jordan Westberg as well. This Orioles offense, yeah, they put up runs. Yeah, they hit home runs. Yeah, they make it look beautiful. Chicks dig the long ball. The ball's flying out of Academy yards. The weather's getting nicer. We know how it can carry. It's a hitter's ballpark. The Orioles had Adley Rutschman on second with a 1-out double in the 9th. Bring in Jorge Mateo. He doesn't even get to 3rd. Hoffman strikes out on Hearn. Westberg lines out. We don't even get a guy to 3rd base. I would have been aggressive in that moment. I'm doing what I can to move Mateo over. I know they were expecting him to steal, so it would have been tougher, but I'm doing everything I can with 1 out to get that brother to 3rd base. If I have to lay down a bunt, if I have to do something, I'm getting this brother to 3rd base. Obviously, they had 1 out. So you expect O'Hearn to be able to at least get the ball, I don't know, at least into the outfield, maybe for at least a sacrifice fly, maybe hit a ground ball to the first base side to he can move the runner. Didn't work out. Unfortunately, his kids' opening day as well. The kids were upset. I think the kids in the damn stands could have hit the ball better than the Orioles were hitting the ball in clutch situations. And then once I saw, who was it? Francisco Laureano come in. Ramon Laureano, not Francisco Laureano, former pitcher. Ramon Laureano come in. I knew we were doomed. I knew we were doomed. We were doomed. We were doomed. We were doomed. I knew it was over with. And I was just pretty much just waiting for the final strike call because he took a strike, he had a foul tip, and then he just pretty much took it right down the middle, and that was all she wrote. Or he swung and missed, I think. And that was all she wrote. The Orioles have not won consecutive games, as I mentioned. They're now 6-9. And once like I said, once Francisco Laureano came up to the plate, I knew it was over. I knew it was over. The Orioles actually have 14 home runs in 6 games against Toronto. Their offense shows up against them. Jose Barrios, who did start, they had 5 off of him in 10 innings this season. Baltimore has 10 straight multi-home run games against the Blue Jays at Camden Yards, dating back to August 2023. The Blue Jays will now go to the Atlanta Braves, how apropos, to face them with Mr. Hoffman. And the Orioles have another day off, and they will welcome in the Guardians with, my gosh, the struggling, ageless wonder, Charlie Morton, with a 0-3, 8.78 ERA.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's what fans are thinking. When you go out and sign guys 40 plus years of age, when you could have, no, Corbin Burns wasn't coming back to Baltimore. But like we've mentioned, other names that you could have went and got. In free agency, not even saying trading for anybody, because I'm not all about getting rid of Jackson Holliday and Samuel Basallo. Those are my 2 untouchables, as well as Westberg. I know people wanted him because the rumor is they wanted the White Sox for Crochet, Holliday, and Basallo. I'm not giving up both of them. Maybe one, maybe Holliday, but not Basallo and Holliday for Crochet. Now, they were rumored to give Corbin Burns 180 million. They spent some of that on Charlie Morton. They bought back Kyle Gibson, and I guess they're just banking on Grayson coming back, Eflin coming back, and maybe some more reinforcement down the line, and maybe they can make a trade in the season. But I don't think that's going to be as fruitful as we can expect because teams know you're desperate, and the asking price is only going to go up because it's a certain amount of time you have to make that trade. And if they know that you're hovering around 500, they know that you have to make a move because it's the only thing that can save your season. You're screwed. You're fucked. And the Orioles right now are fucked. Yes, it's only 15 games into the season. Yes, they've not even played a full 20 games. They're only 10% into the season, as I mentioned in the beginning. But this team, just doesn't have that fight that we've seen. Like since June last year, that Yankee series where they went ice cold offensively and the injuries started piling up, Westberg, Rushman, whether he was hurt or not, I really think the one-run games, the extra inning games, that Orioles magic, we don't feel it right now as a fan base. It's kind of like doom and gloom. We know that if the game is tight, we know Felix Batista isn't pitching back-to-back days. He didn't pitch today, obviously. He would have been available if he was normally used. They're going to have to break that eventually. He got to save on Saturday. I'm happy for Batista. First save in over 500 something days looked good. Only going to get better. But eventually, within the next month, we're going to have to take the restrictions off. We're going to have to let the shackles loose of the mountain because he and they have an off day tomorrow. So why would I know it's back to back days? I would have said, hey, if we needed a situation where Batista needed a pitch, we need to have him ready to go, especially with an off day the next day. But we'll see what happens. Charlie Morton will take the mound as the Guardians come here to the beautiful confines of Camden Yards. Let's look at the game real quick. Let's go over some things. As mentioned, Gunnar Henderson was ultra impressive today. He did go. Gunnar went 3 for 5 with 2 runs. So he's starting to pick it up. Remember, he didn't have a spring training. He's starting to pick it up. He's doing his thing. Very proud of Gunnar. I think he's hitting the ball over 100 miles per hour pretty much every at bat. One of the hardest hit ball batters in the major leagues. He's going to continue to do that. Rushman, he's getting on base every game. He's done it every game this season. Mateo came in a pinch run. That's what he's doing now. Sanchez, he did not play either. We had Ryan O'Hearn. I would have liked maybe to see Gary Sanchez in that situation. I don't know how the lineups would have worked. I know Robert Chirinos, the former major league catcher, who's the bench coach, who's second in command of high, was in charge. I don't know how much power or authority he had to make that move, but I would have rather seen. Well, they took Kerstead out and they had Laureano in. I would have probably maybe liked to go to Gary Sanchez in that situation. You know, he can hit. He has the power. He's a better hitter than Laureano. I would have thought about making that move. And then if you get the run in, you possibly could win the game. If, things go, you could walk off. You may not have to even make another switch. But then again, I guess if the game does continue on, you don't have any more outfielders. So that creates another quandary of situations where you have to move guys around. We'll see how that would have played out. But hindsight is 2020. Nevertheless, I would have probably rather seen just about anybody, honestly, in that situation other than Laureano, even Mateo, probably, honestly speaking. Like I said, I would have maybe even liked to see Ramon Urias. He didn't even get an opportunity today. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, Brandon High getting ejected probably didn't help. So a lot of things we probably wanted to see, we weren't going to see anyway, because we don't know how much power or authority Mike Elias would have given Chirinos to do what Brandon Hyde would have in that situation. K. Povich, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 2 Ks. Better than the 13 hits he gave up in Kansas City, but 76 pitches, 48 strikes. Brian Baker was fantastic. He continued his great season. Keegan Aiken gave up 1 run. He's been solid. Sir Anthony Dominguez, no runs. Gregory Soto, the levees broke today. He gave up 3 runs. Like I mentioned, it's no excuse for the Orioles to lose this game up 3 runs. Cano, he came in and inherited a run as well. And Bowman gave up the game winner, as I mentioned. But 4 2/3 is not going to get it done for your starters. I know today's game in the Major League Baseball realm, it's not about guys going 7, 8 innings anymore. You really get 5, maybe 6 if you're lucky. But 4 2/3 isn't going to get it done for the O's. Povich has to at least maybe give us another inning, at least 5, and that's on a bad day. So we don't want this bullpen to be worked. Obviously, early in the season, we had the rain off Friday, we had the off day Monday, had the off day on Thursday, travel day. But there are going to be a lot of back-to-back games coming up where you're going to need your bullpen to not be worn out. And it's only but so long they could have went scoreless and not given up anything. So it's inevitable. It's an ebbs and flows of the Major League Baseball season. And like I always say, you can't have a football mentality. Just because people think, oh, well, this is like when the Ravens started 0-2. Like I said, this is like only the first quarter of the first game we're in right now. So no need to panic. Jeff Hoffman gets the win 2-0, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts of his 6 outs. They were the strikeout variety. Bowman, 1 inning, 2 hits. No earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Henderson scored on a wild pitch by Barrios. O'Hearn with the second. Kirk hit the home run. Mountcastle hit the home run, gave the Orioles a 2-1 lead. Then the next inning, Vlad Guerrero Jr. gets a single. We're tied up at 2-2. Then the Orioles get a run back with Rutschman's field of choice, 3-2. Then O'Neill makes it 4-2. Then Kerstad score again on the fielding error. So we're up 6-3 in the sixth. I'm thinking, okay, this game should be something the Orioles can win. You can win this game. You're right on the heels of the Blue Jays. Now they go to 9-7. You're 6-9. Now Kirk double, Schneider grounded out, Bichette single, and the Straw infield single. Like I said, you couldn't have placed the ball any better than that. And as we look at the standings, Orioles in last place, 6-9. Tampa Bay 7-8, Boston 8-9, New York 8-7, Toronto 9-7. Like I said, if you win today, Toronto would have been what, 8-8, and you would have been what, 7-8. So you would have been right there, and that's why every game is important. We talk about, yeah, it's 1 of 162, but games in April count as much just as games in September. And you can't win a division in April, but you can lose one. I always say that. And with that being said, the Orioles 6-9, they got to get it together. They have to pick it up. But so far, they've already played the Jays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Well, 5 times would have been 6. So right now against the Blue Jays, they are what, 4-2. So that is going to be key. So they're what, 1, 2. I'm sorry, 3, 1, 2. They're 4 and what? They played what, 5 games? They're what, 1, 2, 3. So they're 3-2 against the Blue Jays so far. So there you go. 3-2 against the Blue Jays this season. They're 3-2. Yeah, they're 3-2 against the Blue Jays, right? Okay. Yep, 3-2 against the Blue Jays this season. They played 5 games. One game was play 5 was supposed to be 6. One was postponed. They're up 3-2. The AL East record against AL East teams is going to be crucial. That's going to be something we're going to have to look forward to. And one-run games. That is something we're crucial at. The Orioles lose not only a divisional game, but a one-run game, and divisional games kind of count as a game and a half, 2 games in a lot of instances. So there you go. There you have it. And you can't give up 16 hits in a Major League Baseball game and expect to win. Even though Toronto had 2 errors, which led to runs by the Orioles. So, they got a little bit of help from from Toronto. And remember the fielder's choice where they throw to home and try to get Gunnar out was a big play. So Jimenez did that Gold Glove winner, but Bichette 2 for 6, Guerrero 2 for 5. Anthony Santander, welcome back to Baltimore. Got to shout him out real quick. Hit a home run, got a nice ovation on Saturday. Hit a home run as well. They lost and then made a terrible play in right field. Defense is not his calling card. We saw that today. Unfortunately, they got to win. They're 7-6. They're 9-7, 4-5 on the road. Orioles only have played 5 home games so far, 2-3 at home. Barrios, 5 innings. He was not good. But the Toronto bullpen, I think, so far this season, of course, led by Hoffman. They got Garcia. Fluhartry was good. Their bullpen is much improved. It was very bad last year. They did a really good job addressing the needs that they had to fix in the offseason. And I said it, Toronto is very enigmatic. They could win 90 games, but they could also lose 90 games. They are one of those teams in that middle spectrum of they have the talent and the potential, and this is kind of their swan song for a lot of their players potentially. We know they re-signed Vlad, but is the manager going to return? Is Bo Bichette going to return? Probably unlikely for both. Maybe get one of the two. I don't think Bichette's probably going to market himself out of Toronto when you're already paying Vlad 500. But if they get healthy, let's not forget they got guys like Scherzer and others on the injury list. So if they get healthy, they are going to be someone to deal with. We know about Boston. I was already high on them. New York, and the Rays just don't die either. They're going to be in the mix. A lot of home games for them. Like I said, Toronto has 16 hits. Orioles only 9, but the Orioles use the long ball. It's like 3-point shot in basketball. When it's working, it's great. 2-1. 19 bases for the Orioles, 23 for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays left 10 runners on base, and the Orioles left 8. So both teams could have scored damn near 10 plus runs. This could have been a real epic shootout from baseball standards with both teams in double digits. But give credit to the pitching and the bullpen of the Toronto Blue Jays. They were better. The Orioles cannot get timely hitting. They cannot manufacture runs, as we mention every time. It's either boom or bust with the home run, feast or famine. And they were definitely famine in the later innings. They did, like I said, get a little luck with some of the fielding errors, but this offense has to diversify its portfolio. Gunnar is starting to get it together. The bullpen had been solid so far this season, but like I said, you can't expect them to save every game. You can't expect them to be giving up no runs for the entire season. They're going to have a bad day, and they had one today. Brandon High getting ejected, usually that could catapult and galvanize your team to a win. Didn't do that today. Bulls fall 6-9. Blue Jays, excuse me, fall to 6-9. Blue Jays beat them 7-6. They're now 9-7. Orioles have not won consecutive games all season. This is your Baltimore Orioles post game show. God's favorite host. Yours truly, all your Orioles coverage each and every day throughout the season and even in the off season. We're just on the way in this season. Let me know your thoughts on the Orioles losing, not won consecutive games, 6-9. Blue Jays get the win. They're currently in last place. It just feels like the feeling of this team. Like, yeah, they're playing hard. They're not quitting, but that fight, it just felt like, oh, the Orioles can always come back. The Orioles, oh, they're down one run. Okay, cool. They're up 3 runs. This game is over. Oh, they need a run at the bottom of the ninth. They need a run at the bottom of the 10th. Walk it off. Oh, easy money. Oriole magic. There are no guarantees in life, no guarantees in baseball. There is a guarantee that the Flex Mode podcast will give you your Orioles coverage and sports coverage how you want it when you need it. Orioles lose, split the series, so it's like the system. You don't really gain a game, you don't really lose a game. You have to stay where you're at. You're 6-9. And Toronto had your number today. Credit to them, you tip your cap, but we got to fix this balls and strikes. We got to fix this offense. We got to diversify our portfolio, especially in the clutch. Just like in the playoffs, this is a similar scenario. Like I said, these games count the same in April as they do in August and September. So let me know in the comment section. Leave a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the like button, hit the bell. Not feeling my best, but we're still here. Give you your Orioles coverage how you want it when you need it. God's favorite host. Always have an off day Monday. We'll be back at it again on Tuesday against the Guardians with more baseball coverage. Charlie Boyd takes them out. Hopefully, looking to right the ship. But we right the ship here on the Flex Zone Podcast. Thank you for watching. Orioles post-game show. O's lose. Not a happy recap. 7-6. You hear Red Skies. I'm out of here. Enjoy the music. We'll see you in more coverage here on the Flex Zone.